Talk. Yay. Welcome.
Well, I'm so glad to be here, y'all.
Introduce Fern.
I introduced Fern. Okay. This is Fern Brady, Fernanda Brady. Fernanda Brady, okay. And she's going to be here to talk about the Houston Writers Guild, which is my passion. And you're the CEO, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, make sure I get her title right. And then Russell Little, author, best-selling author. We're going to both be talking to Fern about the Guild, about her books, her publishing company, all that stuff. So, yay!
And about her book.
And about her book. And this is just one of her books. So she's got many books and a publishing company with many more books.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Well, that makes me wonder, what books have you written?
Well, okay, so this is my first official full book. That's mine, which is my first picture book, children's book. And other than that,
the coffee,
I have been doing short stories. So I've gotten published in several anthologies and things like that. As a journalist, of course, I was published in journalist newspapers and stuff.
Where did you work as a journalist?
I was foreign correspondent for a Mexico City bulletin newspaper that went out to the English-speaking population of Mexico City.
Did you live there?
I did for about a year. And then
When was that?
That was back in 1995. 95.
Okay.
So from like 95 to about the year 2000.
It's great we get to learn all these things about people.
I know, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
I have a whole new set of questions about Mexico City now.
there you go.
But we got to keep moving. Wait.
On topic.
Well, the cool thing about that was that, after the year that I was actually there working with them, I told them I was coming back home to Houston, and they made me foreign correspondent for them, which was a whole new thing. So I basically opened their office here, which consisted of my room. But anyway, so it was very fun. And what they published was basically information for expats and English speakers and readers about cultural events, arts, movies, museum exhibitions and stuff. And so basically every month I would send them a calendar of what's going on in Houston, so people who wanted to travel would know and what they could do.
So you were writing for people that were coming to visit Houston?
Yes.
And for the Mexico City Bulletin?
Yes.
Wow.
What type of short stories have you written?
Well, I have written a full range of stories. Some of them are very, very juicy.
Juicy, like what?
Juicy, as in romantically.
Erotica?
Oh, like
yeah.
a 50 Shades of Grey kind of book?
Yes, only a lot more well written.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I agree.
I've read that book. I made it through chapter 8.
Yeah,
That's as far as I could get.
I like the movie. I like the tension between the characters in the movie. You could really feel that.
I haven't seen the movie.
So would you
didn't
say
see
that
it.
is the movie better than the book?
I would say on it's hard because I'm a writer, so and I'm an editor and stuff, so I'm very critical of books. I've found myself being much more critical now than when I was just a reader. I critique them, but the movie was really well made. I thought, it was a really good representation, and I think her book is really good. I mean, it sells.
I hate the book.
Hey,
I think it's terrible.
So we're going to be discussing a lot of different things about authors, and one of the things, this is not directly about you, but what makes a book like that just out of nowhere become the most successful book since Twilight or something?
Well, I think that what she has really going for her is the romantic tension between the characters.
But a lot of books have been written with romantic tension. So what do you think is an element that would make a book just all of a sudden go viral?
I think it went viral because the sexual scenes are very well written.
Yeah.
Very, very well
That's
written.
why I read it, because I was having trouble with the sex in the books I was writing at the time and struggling with it. And I read it trying to get some hints.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
so
she does it very well.
Like
What?
inspiration.
Inspiration. Yeah.
It didn't work. That's why I chopped. It stopped at chapter 8 and went on to something else.
But I'm so glad we're having this
You know what
conversation because we'll be talking about topics like that. It's like, what kind of challenges does a writer have? In what areas?
And many of my friends who have really enjoyed her book have commented to me that what they like most about it is the redemption side of Gray. That the main lady is really what redeems him. She saves him from the darkness that he has pretty much, embraced and fallen into.
We don't want to
that
get too far on this
either.
tangent.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
So
Right.
But yeah, so anyway.
I was like, well, we didn't even
plan.
plan to talk about this topic, so that's interesting. I love it.
Yeah,
Love
but
it.
no, back to what I write. So I've written some short stories in some very nice, sexy anthologies, and I've written some
Did you
crime.
find that easy to write?
Actually, I find it difficult.
See, I did too. I found sex scenes, believable sex scenes that are acceptable to, especially the people that read my books. I found it a real challenge to do right. And
Well-
I struggled with them, and I rewrote them and rewrote and rewrote.
Yes, and researched.
Oh, yeah.
I researched because I
Well,
did a
my
lot
wife
of
really
reading
doesn't allow too much research.
on that side.
That's good.
It's not really not that permitted, but
Well,
I had to read that
I
stuff.
don't have any comment for that.
Yeah, I know.
Like the.
moving forward.
Well, it was sitting there. I had to
That
hit
was
it.
like left
She
field.
said it, so it had to be
You
said.
set him up for it.
Anyway,
What can I say?
and so, but then you changed to write a children's book,
Yes.
and you were a
So,
teacher sometime.
I was a
too?
teacher, yeah, for 15 years. I tortured children. I mean, I taught. I taught children.
Before you were.
What grade did you teach?
I taught 6th grade, English language arts, and social studies, because everybody on the campus taught social studies. And
Was that here in Houston?
Yeah, in Alief ISD at Owens Intermediate School.
And
Where
you
your
wrote this.
husband teaches.
Yes,
And you wrote this book.
I did. And actually, this little guy
Show them again.
came from my classroom because I had to teach poetry, and I am not.
To sixth graders.
Yeah.
That was awful.
It really is. And especially if you don't like poetry, I'm not a big fan of poetry. I'm just going to say that. And I do not consider myself a poet, though I have had not just this poem, because basically it's a poem, picture book. I've had another poem of mine that's been published with the Spider Road Press, their book In the Questions. So, but I'm not a poet. Poetry for me is very, very difficult. It's like pulling teeth. I struggle, with it.
So why did you write this book, the children's
The
book?
children's book, well, I wrote it because, in teaching with the kids, one of the really cool things about having to struggle with that genre is that they saw me challenge myself. They saw me writing. I would model everything I asked them to do, I would do. And so, as I was writing with them, this storyline came out. And it came out because of my writer's notebooks, which I brought with me to show y'all. And I'm not 100% sure which one has the little guy, but basically these are my writer's
I'll
notebooks.
open that up first.
Okay, so this is one of them. This is one that is really,
She's got a whole
And
bag.
it's really.
it's packed with a lot of goodies.
And what do you put in a writer's notebook?
Oh my gosh, well, I'm glad
You
you
have
asked.
these newspaper articles,
Is that like
Yes.
where your research goes?
And there's
Is that all your ideas?
postcards.
And see, so this little fellow here is a
You're
little,
gonna have to hold that up a little bit more.
this is my little smiley face balloon, okay? So my mom gave me this balloon for my birthday one year, and she gave it to me not uninflated, just in the package, because she's like, I saw it and I didn't have time and it's so cute. And so one day, as I
Now,
was,
why did she think to give you that? Do you already were interested in the smiley face, or she just
no,
thought
she
it was
just
cute?
thought it was cute.
Oh, that's.
just
I just
parents.
drink your coffee.
It's all
And
right.
here it came to this. Oh,
I'm a germaphobe. That's really a bad thing.
Sharing is caring.
Cooties.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
No, but so one day I was in my classroom because I would have all my kids make their writer's notebooks, and we would go through the year adding. And I was struggling with, oh gosh, I have to model writing a poem, and I was flipping through it, and I saw the balloon, and all of a sudden I had this idea: balloons, they float away. What if they traveled? What if they went around the world? What if they saw stuff? What would they see? And that's where the smiley face platoon came from.
Did you worry about the sentence structure? And
Smiley face
what is it?
platoon.
What grade is it?
That's cool. That's like a play on words, right?
Yes, it's like a platoon.
Instead of platoon, it's platoon.
What grade is it for?
It is really, I think, geared towards 5th and 6th grade.
Okay.
Because of the vocabulary and because...
Didn't you worry about that?
Not when I first wrote it.
Because you taught for 15 years.
Yeah.
So you kind of knew, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, but you
That's kind of my problem. I would like to write a children's book, but I worry about that.
Okay, so I noticed, can I point out
Yes.
that you wrote that one under a different name?
Yes.
Why'd you do that?
Well, because, can I suggest?
Yes.
Because if somebody's reading her erotica book and it's Fern Brady, and then they pick up
Do
this.
you write under Fern Brady for your other book, for your other writing?
I do.
Okay.
So
I get it.
I can definitely see. That's why I've never represented anyone that writes erotica, because I can't put that on my website.
I didn't know where that sentence was going to go when it started.
Oh, okay.
No doubt. And
Made you worry a little bit.
I
Huh?
was wondering.
I
Amy was going to have to edit some on that sentence.
I was like, oh my goodness.
Here we go. Okay.
No, but you know what? I didn't think of it. Because when I first wrote, my first stories that I wrote were short story, erotica stuff that got published under Fern Brady. And I really didn't think about the fact that I would someday
What year
write.
was that?
That was, okay. You're making me have to think. Okay, that was in 2013.
Okay, so that was right in the
Oh,
middle of
so,
social
yeah,
media, so
yeah.
you should have been thinking about it.
So which one do you prefer to write more? The erotic books or like the children's stories?
So what I like to write, and the novel series that I'm working on, is actually science fantasy.
So the answer is neither.
Neither.
To sum it up, neither.
Neither.
Well, it means you like writing. Period.
I like writing. I'm all over the place. But I am planning to release, because this one was released in 2015, and I am planning to release another picture book this year, and it's going to be called Picture de Ella.
13.
So that's...
We need to get to
Wow, this
what the
time
Houston
passes fast,
Writers
doesn't
Guild
it?
is.
Yes.
What is the Houston Writers Guild?
Well, the Houston Writers Guild is an organization. It's a nonprofit writers group that is volunteer run, and we provide a vast array of programs and opportunities for writers in Houston, from getting writers critique circles going, write-ins if you're still in the writing stage, revisions.
Well, who's not always in the writing stage?
All the time, right? All the time. And so we have that element, and we have all the way through to, the conference, which is coming up in April, where we bring in agents and editors who are interested in looking for
And you do
specific
that
manuscripts.
twice a year, really, right?
Yes, we do
So-
2 big
But
conferences.
two different types of conferences. The one in April is with agents, editors, for people that are more traditionally published.
Yes.
And then in September, it's Indiepalooza. And that's just independently published, self-published.
That was the Indiepalooza conference that I went to. I didn't get to go this year because I was in Portugal. I like saying that.
I know you do.
The one before that I went to was the best writers conference I'd ever been to.
I think everybody thinks that. I think the Indiepalooza last year, sorry you weren't there because you were in Portugal.
So how can you get involved in the Houston Writers Guild?
Well, it's very easy. You just go to our website, HoustonWritersGuild.org. And
It is a nonprofit, by
It
the
is a
way.
nonprofit, and you just join. It's a yearly membership for $60.
Yeah, so it's very, very reasonable.
Yep, and it renews on the month that you join. So you join in January, the next January you would renew, And after that, you're enrolled, in our newsletter, and you get special member discounts for the conferences and other things. And then
the
there's
two
free
conferences
stuff.
is really important.
I think it is. I think it's important. I have some members who have been to a lot of conferences, and they feel like, well, I've already heard everything that presenters are saying. Yes, that may be so, but rehearing it, refreshing yourself is always a good. Plus, connecting to other
I was going to
writers.
say the networking.
Right, in
is the
Houston, we
best-
have a lot of writers in Houston. It's one of the great things about Houston. We have lots of great restaurants from all over the world, and you have artists, lots of artists. There's a great artist community in this city.
You know what
and
else
there's-
we have?
What?
We have a Super Bowl this year.
I know we do.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
and we're going to show
Yes,
you
thank
the
you.
Super Bowl.
We want to show you because we're down above Discovery Green. The Super Bowl is going to be in a few weeks. By the time this is going to show, the Discovery Green.
Beautiful weather.
Fern, have you seen the new Marriott Marquis?
I have. That is awesome.
That's where, and there's a great bar up there. So, and you look down on stuff. So
We
that's
should
where-
have a social over
Yes,
there.
we should, because that's where they have that lazy river
Right, you
that's
could have a
shaped like the
writers,
state of Texas.
writers guild
Yes.
social up there, and they actually do rent those up there. I mean, you can have them right by the adult pool, and there's it's really nice.
Plus, there's a sports bar in there called Biggio's.
As soon as the Super Bowl's over, they'll be looking for customers.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I'm sure.
And you can see they've got all the NFL stuff already up.
Let's zoom in on the one in the middle. That's the
NFL
most important.
Have you been over there to the Browns since they've redone it? I bet you haven't.
I have with some of the Comic Cons for book selling.
No,
and
then you
stuff.
haven't, because with the Comic Cons
They
were
were
over before they really stepped it up. The new $1 million sculpture inside. Have you seen it? Birds in sky,
No,
or
no.
birds on sky. You got to go see it. It's the most beautiful thing. Go at night. It's beautiful. We're going to do a podcast at night at
Nice.
Birds on Sky.
After the Super Bowl.
After the Super Bowl. Everything's after the Super Bowl here. And they're going to put a giant Ferris wheel right here.
Very nice. I mean, it's incredible how downtown has flourished.
I know there's going to be 10 new restaurants along there.
Should we
Grotto's
leave
already...
them with the view of the Super Bowl?
Huh?
Should we leave them with the view of the Super Bowl?
Yes,
think
we
so.
should.
We
I
should.
think so.
Right, you guys, Author Talk is signing off.